I'm Laura Muraski here with the cast of the new CMT show, Music City. If you love the series Nashville or miss Laguna Beach, then this is the show for you. Music City follows a group of friends entering the next chapter of their lives while chasing dreams of success, fame, and romance in Nashville. Take a look.
You moved here to do music and sing. This is it right here.
That is just what Nashville needs. One more dreamer trying to be a musician.
How's married life? He is gone a lot.
I'm gone probably more than I'm home these days.
I love you and I'll see you soon.
Bye, Dad.
That's just like a hot drummer.
We'll see what happens, yeah.
Come to the studio and sing with me.
Is that a date?
About to be 30. I don't have the life that I thought I would, but maybe Jackson is that person.
Sounds like this girl's got you scared, Jackson Boyd.
Are you ready to rock?
Are you ready to rock?
I mean, yeah.
The path that you're choosing, it ain't easy.
Maybe one day I'll be good enough. So how are you and Jackson?
We're doing really well.
Really well. Really well.
Do you like me?
Your marriage is stronger than some guy.
I don't know that. Were you trying to hurt her?
Absolutely not.
It's either her or me. You're not compromising.
I'm staying here.
What do you think?
Check, please. You do realize that your life will never be the same ever again.
Please welcome cast members Kerry and Rachyl Degman, Jessica Mack, Jackson Boyd, Alisa Fuller, and Alexandra Harper. Guys, so great to have you here at Build. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
I love that we're kind of talking to you on the cusp of potential like fame and popularity, because a lot of people, you know, we don't know who you are yet. A lot of people have not seen this show. How does that make you feel? How do you feel, Rachyl, like on the few days before the release of the show?
I think we're all really excited. It is all pretty much new for us, so I mean, everyone's just been really hospitable and welcoming and excited for us.
That's awesome. Okay, this show is sort of being described as like an unscripted docu-series. Explain really what that is, because, you know, I mean, some of us have seen Laguna Beach, some of us haven't. How would you describe it, Jessica?
It's basically a picture into our lives. We tell them what's going on, and they basically get snapshots of that, and they piece it together into this story that you get to watch on television. And yeah, it's just a picture into Nashville and our pursuing our dreams and relationships.
It's very cool because you get to see our ups and our downs. You get to kind of see us grow in the music business. Music is a very big part of the show. You get to see the growth of Nashville, which is such a cool thing. You know, Nashville was kind of under the radar for the past few years, and in the past 7-8 years, it's really come on, and it's very exciting to be a part of that.
And I think people who are fans of The Hills, I know like the last episode they pull that screen away, so everybody's like, the whole thing was fake. You're breaking my heart. This is not that. Like
real.
there are no sets, there are no backdrops. We are really shooting. They're shooting in our houses, in our places of work, in our cars. Like you get to see our lives as we're living them, and then it's put on TV.
I mean, is a little part of that a little daunting?
Yes.
Yes. And what,
Absolutely.
So, in what way is it terrifying? I mean,
It's terrifying because we're just ourselves, and normally we're not thinking about the fact that A, we're gonna have to watch this back, and B, everybody else is gonna watch it back and also have their own opinions on it.
like, will they like us?
Yeah, that is 100% will they like us. And like you said, we filmed this when nobody knew who we were, so it's hard to think like future, like people are going to see this, and yeah, we're just like, everybody please like us, don't be too mean.
Was there a part of your lives that you said, okay, this is hands off, I can't, we don't want this shown at all?
I told them that I would rather them not come into the bathroom with me, so they were okay with that.
Anybody else?
Rachyl and Kerry,
I mean, Kerry and I have our 2.5-year-old son to consider, and our marriage as well. So, there were things that we talked about before we started recording that, we agreed to keep private for our family, especially for our son's security. So.
Absolutely. Your son is now 2 or yeah?
2.5.
2.5. I saw the premiere episode, and you guys are in this kind of spotlight a little bit and talking a little bit about your marriage. Was that hard to sort of open up a little bit about that will be in front of a lot of people?
Yeah. It was really, really easy for me, but I'm an oversharer. It's actually something that I'm working on. I think it was more of a challenge for my husband.
Yeah, because you're about to go on the road. You're a musician, and we're seeing you about to actually, tell your wife that you're going to be going away for 6 weeks or something, right?
Yes.
And now, now you have an audience to watch that.
Yeah. It's Rachyl has it kind of hard because she has to be a single mom whenever I'm on the road touring. So when I tell her that I'm leaving for 6 weeks, which is longer than normal, you can imagine the reaction.
Yeah. You're all coming at it from a different perspective. Can we just kind of go down the line and sort of say, okay, this is where I'm at, because you're all at a crossroads at some point in your lives. Let's start with you, Alexandra.
Yeah, so, the audience is going to kind of see me in my journey to competing in Miss Tennessee USA, and that's a huge part of it. And then just sort of like what was involved and how my family was involved, how Jackson was involved. Because Jackson's my cousin, for anyone who doesn't know. And just kind of following my journey up to that point.
What about Jackson? Where are you at?
So this music thing is very new to me. It was something that was hidden that I've always, kept to myself. Alexandra knew about it. We'd sing in the car together, and I would always keep it to myself. Didn't want my buddies that I played sports with to ever know that I sang. And you see me kind of come out of my shell in that aspect. And I'm the most raw when it comes to music of all these, and everyone's so talented here, those that do music. You see my fitness journey. That's what I'm very passionate about. That's what I do in Nashville. You see Alexandra and I's encounters on her road to Miss Tennessee and all that good stuff. And, of course, we have such a great time together as a cast. You'll see that as well.
That's cool. And, Alisa, you are pursuing a music career.
Yes, so I'm new as well, not as fresh as Jackson, but more fresh than Kerry and Jessica. I moved from California, like right outside of LA, to Nashville 2.5 years ago. So I'm just kind of getting it going, and you'll get to see the process of kind of like me starting to write a song and then how that kind of turns into performing a song for the first time. So I performed it for the first time in front of what I thought was a few people, only for it to be broadcast. So my first time was a little more intense than most, so you'll get to watch that. And then also you see, it's about relationships in general, but you'll see Jess and I like trying to navigate the dating waters, and that could be a mess or not.
Oh, yeah, always. And you guys, we talked a little bit about your backstory.
Yeah, we moved from California to Nashville 5.5 years ago, coming up on 6. Just kind of the same conversation of like, hey, moving to Nashville, let's get married, come with me. So it was like a lot all at once, and you get to see it unravel.
And you're looking into law school, right? At least at the start of the season.
Yeah, I've really had to find what I am passionate about in Nashville, because since we did move there for Kerry's dream, I really kind of lost myself. The first couple of years were pretty hard. I was lonely, and it was just all about music, and I am not a musician in any way. So ultimately decided that I would like to go to law school. So we have our son, and so I'm caring for him, and then I also work as a nanny, but then I'm trying to go to law school.
Gotcha. And Jessica, what about you? You're also musical in this.
I am musical in this. I moved to Nashville 5 years ago from Arkansas, and you're going to see me in the process of making an album. And as well as I turned 30 during the filming of the show, and so I've always had this dream of getting married and starting a family, so that's something else you're going to see me trying to figure out.
So what's the connection? It seems like you two are kind of the connector of the crew, right? Did you all know one another ahead of time? How did this work out?
So we've gone to church with Mack for a long time, so the three of us kind of go back, and then it's such a small town that I think we all had bumped into each other in different ways. Jackson and Kerry are both pretty into fitness, and so yeah, we all knew each other, but we were definitely getting to know each other better as we go.
Rachyl and Kerry were definitely the umbrella, the catalyst of our relationships. That's kind of how it all kind of fell into place. But yeah, they're definitely the starting point of it, and it kind of trickled down from there.
Amazing.
Yeah, Nashville is smaller than you think, so you know people that you don't even realize you know. And I think, like he said, they're the umbrella, and then we kind of all met through them. And you'll see throughout the show like how they introduce us to different people. And also being in the music industry, it's another small world, so it's good that we're all connected.
The Nashville music industry, would you consider it competitive at this point?
1,000%. People in Nashville are more talented. Like, you go to the grocery store and probably the clerk can sing better than you can. Like, everybody goes there with some sort of talent in their pocket.
That's hard to navigate. Go on,
Being the only Nashville natives, Alexandra and I have seen they call it a 10-year town. People come there for 10 years to pursue their dream. They're probably working 2 or 3 side jobs and pursuing music at the same time. It's about as competitive as the LA market is for film and all that kind of stuff. It's cutthroat and it's intense.
I will say that the thing I love about Nashville is, even though it is very saturated with a lot of great musicians, there's something special about that city where people really do want to help each other out. And you're actually going to get to see that on this show as well, where I get to work with Jackson a little bit in the music, just because he's starting out. And that's a true depiction of Nashville. Like, I can't tell you how many people have helped me along my making of my music career. So
that's great to hear. So it sounds like it's competitive but not cutthroat.
Exactly.
It's like one of those things. That's cool. But Nashville really plays a character in this show in many ways. How so? How would you describe Nashville as its own character?
Well, I think that Nashville in general is just like a big community. And, like just what Jackson said, since we're from there, we've seen the city just like explode. And I mean, there's like areas of Nashville that I myself don't even know like what my friends are talking about when they're like, yeah, like I'm going to dinner. And I'm like, I've never been there or even knew that was a place. But I think it's just so welcoming. And it's a huge draw for people that, like, I think it's easy for someone to live in Nashville for a week and call it your home. So I think there's, like, a huge sense of that's going on.
That's great. And music, of course. I mean, even in the pilot episode, we're seeing snippets of music throughout it all. Can you talk about how that sets up the tone? In addition to your own original music is really scattered throughout.
I mean, you can't do a show called Music City without a lot of great music. So you're definitely going to get... watching the first 2 episodes with the cast, I want to download the playlist. It is awesome. You hear all of the top 40, as well as, like she said, you get to hear some of our own originals, which is a huge honor for us to be able to share that with the world.
And I understand. Oh, yeah, go on. Yeah.
I think it's good that we incorporate music that's not just country music, because a lot of people think, oh, Nashville, it's all country. That's all I'm going to hear. So I think what the show does great is we do covers of songs that maybe people wouldn't expect to hear on a show set in Nashville. So we try to get like every audience. I know Rachyl, she deals with country because of Kerry, but I mean, she has like a playlist that probably has very little country on it. Yeah. So we're like, okay, we'll take your friends and make them feel welcome.
So you're a pop girl, you like pop music. Have you turned it all getting into country a little bit more, having been there a few years now?
I can definitely do folk, which I consider Chris Stapleton like folk, so I can definitely do that. I'm from originally Colorado, so there's a lot of folk music there. Yeah. And then, Eric Church, for some reason, I just love him. I think his lyrics they remind me of like hip hop lyrics. They're like complex, I guess.
Yeah.
And a little more like not so cheesy.
Yeah. So like country here and there, dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
So Nashville was definitely founded on country music. It's definitely made it's not all country anymore. It's, you got Zed and Maren Morris doing a song together. That's like the so cool about it. It was definitely founded on those country roots, but now it's so much more than that. And I feel like music has such a draw on someone's mood and emotions anyway. And I feel like Nashville kind of has that draw on people too. Just that whole vibe of music just brings people in. That's like the beauty of it.
That's great. And I understand that a few of you, the musician people, actually wrote some songs sort of to go with the season, right? How did that come about? Was that a lot of pressure to say, okay, or was it helpful to have that inspiration?
I felt like it was helpful. I mean, I'm always writing whatever's happening in my life, and so since my life was being filmed, it was just natural for me to write a song during that time period, and so I thought it was perfect.
What about you?
I was a little nervous because you'll see that I write like a complete song. I mean, they're probably not going to put the whole thing, but I sat down and me and someone named Bryant, who's also on the show, we wrote an entire song. And it was a little nerve-wracking because A, I'm not used to writing with other people, and B, like, they're watching me. So it's like, okay, now you have to try to come up with something awesome, but while people are sitting here making you feel like... come on, like, you can make it work. So it was really cool. The song turned out amazing, and I almost feel like because of the pressure, that's why the song was so good. And you'll get to see that in the show, like from we have one line to now we have a complete song, and we're going to perform it.
That's cool.
And that was Alisa's first time performing an original. It was really cool.
That's neat.
It was scary.
Yeah. What about you, Kerry?
Rocked
How did you feel doing that?
I think being in the songwriter room is such a vulnerable experience, and you have to be okay with throwing out your bad ideas, hoping that someone is inspired by that and writes a good idea. You bring cameras into the room or strangers in the room, it's always kind of an interesting experience, definitely. But like they were saying, it also brings up the pressure that, you know, you have to show up prepared, do your homework, and then show up and write a great song.
About how long did this take to film for the season?
It was a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have a ton of content. Because they just want to make sure, like, if we have a boring day, like we also have a backup interesting day. Because I mean, it's for television. Yeah. So I think it was like a few months of just cameras, and they're just going to film everything, and then they'll choose what they want to show the world.
You saw the first 2 episodes. What was your reaction?
I thought it looked, first of all, it was amazing. I mean, like everything with the cameras and like how they made Nashville look. But I love, like, obviously the drama side of it, because that's like why everyone would love this show. And there's a ton of like relationships that are like intertwining, and there's a lot of things that are starting like new relationships, and then like some overlapping relationships. And so I think that it was everything and more.
Spoiler alert!
I am now intrigued.
I loved that it represented each of us really well. I thought, as I watched, you know, you're kind of anticipating and hoping that nothing's edited to misrepresent, and I felt great. I thought, yeah, that's totally, you know, this is Rachyl, and this is Kerry, and that's me. So,
and you know, going into one of these docuseries, you're like, you know, how am I going to be depicted? And I think Adam DiVello was our producer, and he has such a great eye. You know, he did the hills in Laguna Beach, and he just put us in a great light, and we trusted him, and it was just a great opportunity to work with him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, what it was like to work with someone like him, because having done this many times before.
Working with Adam was amazing, and I was such a fan because I loved the hills, and I love Laguna Beach. And that's what I was going to say about when we watched it. I'm that target market. So watching the 2 episodes, it was amazing. And then Adam, he has, like, the way his brain works, we're all like, I don't understand what you're seeing here. But then you watch it back, and you're like, okay, we're going to let you live, because you clearly know what you're doing. And he is a master in the art of making beautiful reality television. And I think everybody is going to appreciate that.
That's amazing. You know, I've been to Nashville, and I love it. What do you think the biggest misconception about Nashville is?
It's just honky tonks. I mean, everyone's like honky tonks.
Everyone's just like barefoot. They're like can't talk.
But it's just like it's the best of every world. It's got your countryside. It's got downtown. It's got these such vibrant places now coming into it. It's just, and I feel like that's all centered around music. Like I said, there's such a mood and like a vibrant energy that comes with music, and I feel like that's been brought to Nashville. You know, it's awesome.
That's amazing. Do you think that the end of the season can set it up for another season?
We hope so.
Very
Definitely.
Cliffhangers.
Yeah. I was a big fan. I am still a big fan of the television scripted show Nashville. Were you guys fans of that show? And if so, how is this different than that? If someone's watching it, in the intro I said, if you like Nashville, but it's different. But how so?
I think I moved to Nashville because I watched Nashville.
Like the show put like Nashville on the map.
It did.
You know?
And we're kind of trying to help that, because I think a lot of people see the show Nashville and they're like, oh, that's just a set, because they don't really know what is real and what's not. And so we're trying to take that market of people who are maybe intrigued and be like, okay, it is actually really that awesome, and you can come and hang out and have a blast. But the fans of Nashville, I think will appreciate that we're not trying to shove that out of the way or anything. We're just trying to like also be part of the party.
Yeah. I mean, that's the part of the fun of it all. I think that Nashville is a lot more popular right now because of that show, and I think even more so now with this. You know, they call it Music City, but I feel like it's there are a lot of songwriters there. There's just like so many people from all walks of life. There are other types of folks there that are not just doing music. Like you're tapping into music, but you're not. You're doing the sporting and the everything else in addition to that. So so what's next for you all? So now, are you currently on tour, or are you like in the mix?
That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah. Am I putting you guys on the spot?
Yeah. Tune in March 1st.
Yeah. Okay. So we got to wait till March 1st to see if you're on the road.
His schedule is just all over the place, and he's learning how to try to communicate better and plan ahead. But it really is with music. I think sometimes it's like, oh, I got to leave tomorrow. Sorry, be back in 2 weeks. Like so.
Yeah. It's just real life, you know. What was the thing that surprised you the most about working on a series like this?
There's no hair and makeup.
None.
We do it all ourselves, so don't comment on any of it.
No, not today though. You guys like today too?
No, we
There's
did it
no
today.
hair and makeup ever.
I went into Walgreens and bought
But thank
concealer
you.
as a man. I was just like, what am I
I'm
doing?
Been practicing.
You look gorgeous.
We have learned a lot. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah. So you get up every day and you're really just doing your own thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think that people will be so drawn to the show because it's so relatable. Because, like, we're literally just ourselves. I mean, we don't have a hair and makeup squad. Like, it's, you know, a reality show. But, like, I mean, we really are. Like, we go and we do things with our friends, and, like, that's what's being filmed. And they go and perform, and that's what's being filmed. So, like, I think that people will love it because it's something that everyone and a lot of different audiences can be able to relate to.
Would you say that you got more comfortable as time went on being on camera?
Definitely.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. How so? Is there like
I mean,
an example?
our first scene was the date. You know, we had a blind date together, and that was real. It was just,
First time I ever met him
I was
on
like,
camera.
how many vodka waters can I fit down and drink before I see her? I was nervous.
Yeah, he texted me before and was like, oh my gosh. He's like, I'm 5 deep. I'm so nervous.
But it's all real. It's great. Yeah.
Well, dating's nerve-wracking already, and then you have cameras there watching you. But I felt like both of you seemed pretty natural in that scene. Because I was like, I feel like I would be acting the same similarly as you. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I felt like he was so cool and confident, and I came
Hence the
in there
vodka
like
water.
a nervous wreck. But you do. After, you know, a few minutes, you start to adapt, and you forget the cameras are there, and you just have to be yourself, you know?
And I mean, we were with the camera guys so much that we became pretty good friends with all of them. So then it's almost like you're just hanging out with your friend and they have a camera with them.
How much closer did you all get as the season went on? Or because some of you are closer already.
I think it was so fun. Like, we did get closer because the thing about having the cameras there is that you have to communicate. Like, you have to talk about your feelings more than you probably would if they weren't there, which then makes you all closer. Just because, I mean, you can't just sit there and stare at each other. So you're talking about topics that maybe wouldn't be comfortable, or maybe you wouldn't have even thought you were going to go that in depth in or with. So yeah, we definitely, and we have a lot of fun together.
Amazing. Well, I could just see it on stage here, so I can't wait to see the rest of the season. We have some questions from the crowd, so before I let you go, let's get to those.
Hi. So I was wondering, what was the most magical moment of filming this series? Like one moment where you're happy that you got this specific moment on camera.
I would say my first writer's round. A writer's round is where you take a song that you wrote and you perform it in front of like a audience similar to this, just pretty small. And for me to do it for the first time, it was very nerve-wracking, but I'm glad that it was on camera, so I'll always remember my first time because I kind of blacked out. Like, I don't even know what's happening right now.
I would say I got to perform at this venue in Nashville called The Basement, which is kind of a prestigious place. Like Metallica, Keith Urban have played there, crazy names, and here I am, just like singing a song. It was more of a rush than hitting a home run or like scoring a touchdown. I got off stage, I was like, what did I just do? That was awesome. Yeah.
For me, it was Malibu. Kerry and I went to the beach because I was visiting a law school out there, and it was just perfect weather, sunset, and also like a memory that now we have on camera.
That's cool. Anyone else have a moment they want to share?
Mine was probably New Year's Eve. We did a performance, and I mean, all our friends were there, and so we did the big countdown, and it's just a magical moment, like you just said.
Awesome. All right, we have another question in the crowd here. Thanks.
Hi. So while you were working on the show, did it help, or did it kind of like your music, or you're working on any of your music, or do you have to take a break from it so you could focus on the show while you're working?
I mean, the show follows what we're actually doing, so I think it probably helped because maybe we would have been lazy that day or we wouldn't have wanted to write something. And writing and music is kind of hard because even if you're in a rut and you're having a writer's block, you got to do it because this is the career we chose. So I think it helped tremendously just having kind of a support system, being like, okay, we're going to work through this. You're going to make something awesome and share it with the world.
Nice. Thank you for that. All right, next question.
Hi, thank you for being here. Would you be starstruck if you met your favorite artist, or would you keep it cool?
Definitely starstruck. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I saw Justin Timberlake in a grocery store and like almost fainted. So yeah, definitely starstruck.
Anybody else?
I like go too far the opposite way. Like I've met a few of my favorite actors, and I'm just like, okay,
whatever.
Like I don't even know who you are.
I'd say I'd be secretly starstruck and try to play it cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that question. And thank you all for coming by today.
Thank you very much.
We're
Thank
so
you.
excited about
Thank
Music
you.
City. It premieres this Thursday night on CMT. Check it out. Give it up one more time for the cast of Music City.